Bonneville, where are we?
We're in a car park in Dovedale, in Derbyshire.
In the High Peak, or the Peak District, sorry. What are we doing?
We're going to do
Another
walk number 11, which is around Dovedale.
out of this book.
The Collins book.
Our friends Neil and Paul off Wide Beam Goldfinch. Now, thank you very much for all the lovely comments on last week's vlog.
Yep.
If you've not liked and subscribed, why not? It's free. Subscribe, it's free.
Oh,
hit the bell.
I'm pointing up, you're pointing down.
Hit the bell for notifications and all that stuff. Right, so how long's this walk today?
It is 2.5 hours, apparently.
That means 6.
It's 4.5 miles.
That means 8.
Well, yesterday when we did the Elam walk, it said 4.5 miles. It was actually 5.5 miles. So who knows how many miles it is.
Right, okay. Come on.
But it's nice to be done.
It is. It's freezing. Right, we will see you out on the trails. Goodbye. Now then, Mrs. Bonneville, you today are in sole charge of the book.
Jolly good. I'm just looking at that hill. I'm just hoping that it doesn't tell us to walk up there.
Oh, is it an uphill walk?
I don't know. Let's have a
Oh,
look.
the
Let's
one
see.
we did last week, the last vlog you've seen. Oh, where was that one?
That was about.
Elam.
That was Elam, and it was about a mile or so just
golly.
in that direction.
Fabulous
Anyway,
walk.
let's have a look at the start. It says, from Dovedale car park, which is where we're at now, cross the fields behind the Isaac Walton Hotel. The path is signposted to Ilam, 3/4 mile. So let's have a look at have a look at that post there. I think we're going up that way.
Well, hold on. Where's the hotel?
Well, we've just passed it where that man was delivering stuff down there. That was the
Have we?
Islam Hotel.
All right then.
Let's just see what this sign says on here.
I promise you, viewer, I'm going to try today not to interrupt and get involved in the direction. Can I warn you now, viewer? I've got one on me today.
Oh dear.
I know.
The path is signposted to Ilam, 3/4 mile. And I think that says Ilam there, isn't it?
Okay.
So that's the way we're going. And we're not walking up that hill. Yay! We're walking.
Yes.
We're going in the opposite direction to which way everybody else is going.
Excellent.
That's nice.
Right, come on then. Off we go. Oh, blimey, folks. Folks, it's going to be one of them walks, look. Apologies for the wind noise. It's blowing a hoolie. Oh, steady. Steady. Do not fall over. I cannot rescue you. Right. Oh dear. Do you know what? I don't know where you are, folks, what part of the world, but waiting for spring and summer now, my love, aren't we?
Oh, I could have put out walking boots on, but they're no good when we're crossing all this mud, are they?
No, they're not. Right. Oh, this is going to be like dancing on ice. We look like Mr. We look like Mr. and Mrs. Lennon. If you watched our other vlog, look what's behind us. We called that Mashed Potato Hill. Let me see if I can zoom in. There we are, folks. That's the Elam Hall where we did our last walk. Viewers, Mrs. Bonneville has just finally admitted she was a little bit ahead of herself. I really am sorry about the wind noise, folks. It is honestly blowing a hoolie. Mrs. Bonneville, look, she can't open the gate. Come on, I'm out of you, what's your lass? You're supposed to have a little bit of muscle on you. Oh, God. That's it. Hold that gate, girl. That's it. That's it.
Just feel the weight of that gate.
No one filmed me.
Oh, yeah.
Look, another shot up. That's all you're going to see in this vlog. Mashed Potato Hill.
I just think it's...
Bonneville's rocking a North Face hat. I am waiting a new hat today My hat is finally going to be assigned to the bin. Actually, folks, bit of an update. Mrs. B did her bird watching, kind of where you record the birds for an hour.
Big bird watch.
Big bird watch. Welcome, folks, to the world's narrowest. Look at that!
That's
How are you supposed to get through there?
It's a very thin Harry. Ta-da! Come on, Mr. B.
Oh, blimey.
It says, as the angle increases, zigzagging will make the climb that much easier. 1/4 mile. And at the top of the slope, cross the stile. So up we go. We knew we were going to have some up bits, didn't we? If we can get up here, that's so
Watch your coat on that barbed wire.
There we go. Just that first little bit that's slipping.
See what I have to do. See what I have to do, YouTubers. Constantly worrying about it. She's so robust. Climbing anymore. This is not enjoyable.
I think they're all climbing. Yeah, but just your thighs. That's good.
Why can't we buy a book that's just got walks that are on the flat, or require a Segway? Has anyone ever hired a Segway? They're fantastic. We've done it twice at Sherwood Forest. Brilliant fun. Golly. Right, I'm going to huff and puff and moan all the way up here now.
No change there then.
Oh, bless her. That's the only thing about Hunter Wellingtons. We have got proper walking boots, folks. Look, there's the hill again. That's where we are.
We've only come that far in 2 hours.
Yeah, we've only walked across 2 fields in 2 hours.
I found a spot where it's really good for internet. So I'm going to just send my Twitter off at this, Twitter and Instagram, at this spot. So just give me a bear with.
I haven't found a spot good for anything, except moaning. Oh, no, it is beautiful though, look around. Look at this. 360 degrees of beautifulness. Is that a word? Oh, it is lovely. Look what I'm on now. I'm on a goat track. Look, she's up there. She never waits for me. Dear God. Oh, right. I'm huffing and puffing, folks, because I'm not made for this anymore. I was never made for it. To me.
Don't want to be falling down here, so just be careful.
No, you don't. Look at the drop. Seriously, look at that drop.
Now just remind me where your life insurance is.
Oh, folks, we're just going to do a little time lapse. We're going to take a break and show you the view that we're looking at in a moment. We're going to have a little, well, we've got a couple of little, what have we got? Flapjacks. So we're going to have a break, have a look at this little time lapse. And let me just ask you one question. Why would you not want to get out in the countryside? Have a look at this. Right, see you in a minute. Goodbye. To my wife, we should have followed Mrs. Bonneville. We've gone slightly wrong. We should have.
I listened to Mr. B instead of my own instincts.
Yes, correct. We should have gone up to the viewpoint. Personally, I'm glad we didn't. But now we're going to go. Basically, we're going to follow this pathway.
We're going off grid. I've no idea now.
I know.
We might as well put this book away now because
Too short.
Mum always says that. My mum's saying is, on to our next adventure, and that could just be a little 2-minute walk or it could be a holiday. She always says that, on to our next adventure.
It's a good saying. Yeah. It's a good saying, Pat.
Yeah.
That's my mother-in-law's name. God bless you. Right, onwards. Oh, steady. Blind.
That is really slippy there, you'll slip. Yeah, watch it.
Little kissing gate.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
We're back to the beginning, but we're not going back to the car.
No, we're not going back to the car yet.
2.5 miles.
We've done about 2 miles. 2.5. Right. We're now, folks, going to basically pick up the signs for Dovedale and see if we can find stepping stones.
Well, let's have a look.
I think Dovedale will be on the left.
Stepping stone.
There you go. I did say to Mrs. B, but it was my fault with the directions. But Mrs. B will know and recognise and freely admit that I do have a sense of direction. Mainly to the kitchen. Goodbye. There we are, folks. We are back on track to some extent. Do you know, I'm glad I'm on firm, level footing. It's like that film where they come out the desert and have a pint of lager. Oh, I can kiss the ground.
Isn't that David Attenborough, not Richard Attenborough?
It is, I can't remember the name of the film.
It's an old black and white.
Is it Lawrence of Arabia? Something like that. What's the film? Round. Flat. Right, we're going to go and have a look at the test. Should we walk by the river? Oh, no, actually, it comes back up, don't you? Now, I'm going to assume that's the river manifold again.
I think it's Dove.
Oh, is it?
I think it's the River Dove.
Oh.
Yeah. Get me?
Oh, I'm sure it's the manifold.
We're in Dovedale, aren't we? So it's got to be the River Dove.
Why has it got to be the River Dove?
Well, let's
Just up there was the river manifold. I bet it's the manifold, folks. Oh dear, I'm not going down.
Yeah, I think it's Dove. River Dove.
Well, you know what I'm going to say, folks, don't you? Can you fish? Oh, I've just seen a fish jump. Oh no, it might have been a duck coming up or going down. Yeah, it was.
Very clear.
Yeah, it's beautiful and clear. Right, let's go and find.
Do you know what looks good? It looks like we're going in between Mashed Potato Hill and the other hill.
Right. Come on. There's the answer to my question, folks. Here we go, folks. We're just about to enter the nature reserve. Let's have a quick look over here. Oh, stepping stones. There, look. Yeah. You are here. So basically, if we keep the river to our right, over the stepping stones, come back the other way, over the footbridge, into the car park.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh no.
And it absolutely threw it down with rain last night, didn't it?
Oh dear. Right. I think we're about to get a little bit of rain, folks.
What do we say? Not made of sugar?
Not made of sugar. But I think we're coming up on the stepping stones.
Oh, and you can cross them because we weren't sure. It might be flooded.
It looks as though you can cross them.
I'm shouting because I'm shouting because of the wind.
The wind. Yeah. So let's go and have a little walk across the stepping stones. And now for me, the stepping stones. Mrs. Bonneville up is over the other side. If the river is in flood, you have to walk a little bit further up. There's a little bridge, but those are the stepping stones, and it's just started to hail stroke snow. Right, let's go across. Right, here we go. Stepping stones. Cannot believe how clear the water is. Mrs. Bonneville's filming me. There you are, folks. And as you can see, it is tipping it down. I don't think it's going to be much though, because look, there's a little bit of blue sky coming. But yeah, it's a bit gnarly at the moment. So is that the plan, Mrs. B?
Yeah.
Back to the car,
Yeah.
jump in, drive up to Elam. I hope you can see. Oh, we've just got back to the car, so we're going to take our Wellingtons off and go for some. See you in the cafe then at Elam. Elam.
We're just absolutely wet through.
See you in a minute. And we've arrived at the cafe, and we're going to have some food. Oh, right, there you go, folks. We have just, sorry about that attempt inside the cafe. We've just had a lovely cheese and onion pasty and a meat pasty and 2 large lattes. Beautiful. So we are going to go back to the boat now, so hope you've enjoyed this one. I know there's other footage for Mrs. B to clip in about the top of the boat, etc, etc. We will keep you updated in terms of what that ends up looking like, because I'm going to attempt it myself, so more to come on that. Then folks, as I said earlier on our vlog, or our little walk I should say, I've just started to do the repair on the front of the boat. In essence, what has happened is there was a self-seeking satellite dish on the very front end of the boat, and the water's obviously got underneath where it's been sitting on the boat, and it's peeled all of the paint back, and it looks horrible. Aesthetically, it looks horrible. Nothing harming the boat in terms of there's no water coming in or anything. It just looks horrible. So what I've started to do just yesterday, obviously I'm not going to start painting because it's February, it's not the right time of year to be doing that, but I've started to rub it down and started to feather it in, and I've treated it with fur tan, and it's process one of many. But let me show you first things first what it looks like. Right, let's just walk you down to the boat. Let's just walk you down to the end of the boat. Now there you go, folks. Now that looks, I'm sure you'll agree, that looks absolutely horrible. Now you're probably thinking, my golly, what type of satellite dish was that? But I've scraped quite a little bit away, quite a bit of this paint away here. And as I say, I've just started to rub it back and treat it with fur tan. I'm going to have a go at doing it myself. My neighbour Gary off the boat opposite, he hit it on the head. He said to me, well, he said, look, he said, if it doesn't come up very well, you can have someone do it. At least I've given it a go. Right, let's get back in the boat. Yeah, so hopefully that makes sense. It's step one of many. I started it the other day, just scraping the paint back. It looks far worse than it is, trust me. And I've started to rub it down and feather it in. And I say the main thing I did was treat it with fur tan. Now I understand fur tan, the rust treatment, once it's down, and I will give it some more because I've not finished that by a long way in terms of rubbing it down and feathering it in. Then I'll obviously put some primer on it, etc, etc, and then I'll roller it on. But I understand the fur tan rust treatment. Once you put it there, once you've put it down or painted it on, it's good for 2 or 3 months. So I'm not bothered about that, because I say I'm not going to attempt to paint that at this time of the year because of the temperature and obviously the weather. Perhaps next time I'm doing some work on it, I'll take the camera up and I'll just take you through and talk you through what I'm attempting. other than that, we will say goodbye. Hope you've enjoyed it. I say, don't forget to like, subscribe. It's free, and we will see you next week. Bye. She's on set of instructions 4, and we're still on 1. Excellent. We're having a lovely time in the wind. I'm not joking, Mrs. B. If you've got to walk up there, I'm not going.
Oh, I'd love you to fall.
Oh, let's zoom in. Watch yourself. Oh, dear God. I'm on my way. Just let me get some more footage.